Hey guys, what's going on? Brian here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I just kind of want to talk about my thoughts on a lot of things that I've been watching and what's coming up. I mean, the biggest thing obviously I have to talk about is Avengers Endgame. It's coming up this week. I've been waiting so long for this movie, and I'm sure if you guys are watching and interested in it are also excited for this movie. I was able to get opening day tickets in Dolby Theater. This is the most excited I've ever been probably for a movie. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about my thoughts. I've seen all the trailers, all the TV spots. I had thought when I first was, I guess, trying to hype myself up for this movie, I didn't want any spoilers. I wanted to go in watching none of the trailers. I did that for some movies, but for some reason this one, I decided I'm just going to watch the trailers. I'll watch everything that I can. I'm going to read up on it. Hopefully it doesn't get spoiled for me. But I figured since in Infinity War they edited the trailers, so it was more to get you hyped for the movie. And I also heard that the trailers for Endgame were only going to show scenes from the first act of the movie, so I figured it would be safe to watch the trailers. And honestly, the trailers have done a great job at hyping people up, or at least hyping me up. I'm super excited. There's literally, I don't know what can happen after watching these trailers. There are some theories. I ended up reading a lot of fan theories and getting into it. So if you don't want to hear about any of that, click away from this video. Potential spoilers, I guess, because we don't know if it's going to be true or not. So from here on out, I'm going to talk about some fan theories and what I believe is true or not. So a very popular fan theory that I was very interested in was time travel. They believe that, or at least some people believe, they are going to use the quantum realm to travel back in time and get the Infinity Stones and defeat Thanos that way. I'm not going to get into too much detail. I know I did give a spoiler warning, but I don't want to ramble on and on and on. But there was this specific, I guess it was a leak. I don't really know if it's true or not. I read it on Reddit. There were actually two of them. One I read, it was basically a breakdown of the whole movie as bullet points, and I don't know if it's true or not. The article that I was reading presented it as possibly a leak of the whole movie, and it was interesting. They did some interesting points there. They did confirm time travel, and they confirmed a specific Avengers death, which we will talk about. I'm just gonna give people a little moment. If you've gotten this far and don't want to hear about it, click away. Like I said, I think I've given you plenty of warning to not watch this video if you don't want to know. So they also talked about Captain America's death. Oh, also, I know I talked about not trying to spoil the movie for myself, but honestly, even though I read these fan theories and I read all this stuff, like these quote-unquote leaks of the movie, I'm still excited to see it. I've read it, and I understand that if I saw it without reading all this stuff, now I have some kind of expectation. I understand that, but I'm still excited for the movie, even though I read this stuff. So I'm going to talk about it. So yeah, the leak talked about that. It was a really short breakdown. I don't have it right now. I forgot. I guess I could look it up, but if you want to find it, I guess just go ahead and Google it, but I'm sure it'll be there. They talked about basically a breakdown of in Act 1, A, B, and C is going to happen, and in Act 2, this is going to happen, and in Act 3, this will happen, and this is what happens at the end. So I'm actually, I'm going to try to stay away from specific details, because I know I said spoilers, and I know I'm looking down because I'm staring at notes. But I want to be excited. I want to leave you guys excited. If you don't want to know, you don't want to know. But there was also a possible leak of what the end credits were, and it did confirm a lot of a few fan theories. It said that Tony Stark's gonna end up getting married and having a kid, and then the other thing was some joke thing with Spider-Man and Hawkeye, and the last one, which I think I'm not gonna believe it until I see it, but they said that it's going to be a man walking down an alleyway, and you're going to hear Wolverine's claws, and it's gonna freaking blow my mind. Like, if I see it, if it's true, like all the stuff that I read, I know it's still like, oh man, like what if that's true? I just spoiled the whole movie for myself, and I know what's gonna happen. But still, like seeing it, like seeing will just be the confirmation. The seeing is believing type thing. Like it's real. Right now, everything in my head is just like thoughts of and possibilities, and they're all maybes. But once I see it, that will be crazy. I definitely want to do some kind of reaction video after the movie, or maybe a podcast or something. I don't know. Definitely want to do that. The other thing is there was a second thing I read that was like a full-on, very detailed story, like summary of the first 2 acts of the movie, not the third one, and it did pretty much match up with the bullet point one. So I don't know if one person was referencing the other one, but it was the detail was very detailed, and I'm pretty excited. Basically, they're gonna like it was saying that they're gonna fight Thanos. They're gonna win, but they're not gonna be able to reverse the snap. So they're going to figure out a way to go back in time, get the Infinity Stones from the past, and use that to save everybody. So that would be interesting. I wonder if it's gonna create 2 separate timelines. And I wonder if that's how the MCU is going to move forward, is either sticking with one timeline and solve the stories from one timeline, or now that they have 2 different timelines, could they possibly have one movie take place in this timeline, like timeline A, and another movie take place in timeline B, and then maybe in the future have some kind of like timeline colliding movie, because what else could be bigger than what they're doing right now? I was hoping, because I heard some interviews, I read some interviews about the Russo brothers talking about how they would like to do some kind of Secret Wars movie, and that would be pretty cool. That would be like something that's really huge that I could look forward to. But yeah, so I think that's enough for me being super hyped for Avengers Endgame. I can't wait. I'm going Thursday night. I'm Dolby seats, the reclining seats. I'm gonna be right up on that screen. I'm so excited. So yeah, that's that. And speaking of MCU stuff, my friends and I got together and we tried to do this game show thing. My friend put together a like MCU game show where he took quotes from all the movies of the MCU, and we did a little game show to try and figure out like, oh, who said this quote, what movie it was from. There's a bunch of different things. Unfortunately, I was also testing out some like really cheap cameras while we were shooting that, so the video quality isn't as great as I would have liked it to be. I think maybe what I should have done was just use, like, this webcam looks way better than the cameras I was using. So lesson for next time. But for now, I'll just try and put it together and see. So that might be a fun video coming soon. I'm trying to get it together before Thursday. So there's that if you guys are interested. Another thing I want to talk about is Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is here. It's back. The last season. We're on season 8. There's only 6 episodes. Can you believe there's only 6 episodes? And 2 have already passed, okay? We're 2 episodes in, and I'm a little disappointed because nothing's happening yet. And but we know episode 3, next week's episode, is going to be huge. Going to be a huge episode. Like, they're building up something crazy. Something, oh man, like, all right, I understand episode 1 was maybe like, okay, the season started, we're finally seeing everybody get together now, and we're anticipating a big fight and stuff. And then episode 2 was basically, there's gonna be a big fight in episode 3, and we're all kind of just preparing for it. Everybody's like, all right, like, we could possibly die, so let's get our last, like, stuff in and whatever, like, however people are gonna cope before a big fight. That's what this episode was. And next episode, like, along with my Endgame post talk, I think I will probably do a post Game of Thrones episode 3 talk as well, but I want to keep this nice and brief. So yeah, that's basically, like, I mean, if I had someone else to talk about this with, it would be great. But I mean, main points we could hit, like finding out well, confirm we knew, but now the character knows, Jon Snow knows that he's really a Targaryen, and episode 2 he tells Daenerys that he's a Targaryen. But also, like, a couple things. If you know, they did the things, they did the things. So how come they haven't addressed that, like, they're basically aunt and nephew? But I guess, like, in the world of Game of Thrones, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's not something they like, or like, oh my god. But I think Daenerys right now is more worried about, oh, Jon has a claim to the throne, and like, does she see him as an enemy? They talked about them loving each other, but does she now see him as an enemy? As, like, is she more power hungry? Is she more in love with like being a queen and getting the throne, because that's what she talked about was her goal for her whole life? Or now does she see Jon Snow as, like, a lover and could possibly share the throne with him? We don't know. I have no idea now. But why can't they share? Why can't they just be married and, you know, they can share the throne? Maybe that's how it's going to happen in the series. I have no idea, but that's something I want to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about is, like, who's pushing Bran around? Bran is just appearing places, right? Who's wheeling this kid to, like, the Godswood and whatever, and just leaving him there? How is he getting? Is he actually? I've never seen him do the thing with a wheelchair. I haven't seen him move. I've seen him sit a lot, and I see him stare a lot. But who is moving this kid? All right. That's enough of that. But I am part of a Game of Thrones, I think we called it a Deadpool. Me and a bunch of people have entered a Game of Thrones Deadpool where we choose whether or not characters will live or die, and each time we're right, we get a point. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points wins the pool, which is super exciting. So that has me even more invested in the show. But I think that's basically the summary of my thoughts on Game of Thrones right now. I will continue. Maybe I'll talk about each episode, do a little episode recap, starting with episode 3. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you guys are interested, but One Punch Man Season 2 is out. That is also only 2 episodes in. I love One Punch Man. Why did I say it like that? I love One Punch Man. This is a long, uncut video, but One Punch Man Season 2 is off to a great start. I don't know if any of you are interested, so I'll keep this really brief. But the new villain in One Punch Man that they introduced, is it a villain? I don't even know how to explain it. He's like a monster. I don't know. Villain person? I don't know. But he's like, I saw him on screen doing his thing. I was like, oh, what? Like, that's crazy. So I cannot wait to see what's next. And if none of you guys have seen One Punch Man and you guys like anime, comedy, fighting, or whatever, it is a great anime to check out. And all right, so I guess this will be it for my, like, thoughts video for Endgame, Game of Thrones, One Punch Man, or whatever this video is. But thank you for tuning in. If you like these videos, maybe I'll do more. Maybe I'll do more of my opinionated talks about stuff that I like, geek stuff. I actually, as you saw, uncut, I'm really into this stuff. I really like this stuff. So maybe I for myself, I have stuff to talk about, and I can talk about them. So thank you for listening, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I have been uploading videos weekly, so every Monday there's going to be a new video. I'm really sticking to that goal, and I have people to hold me accountable for it, that would yell at me if I don't do it. So I've been doing that. So expect weekly videos now, and this will be like an official channel, I guess. Weekly videos Monday. I don't know. I haven't had a theme for the videos yet. I'm just starting little, just having, like, whatever video it is, I'm just putting videos out, and then maybe I'll have a more scheduled, like, maybe Mondays I'll have a random video, maybe Fridays, like every Friday I can have one of these talk videos, depending on how well this is. But once again, I'm rambling. Sorry, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. If you guys are going to see Endgame, enjoy. Please don't spoil it for people, even though I probably spoiled the hell out of it with these fan theories. Enjoy Game of Thrones if you're watching it. Tell me who you think is going to live or die. Peace out.